Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the day's top stories. Special investigation team to probe violent protests against Citizenship Amendment Act in Uttar Pradesh. State DGP instructs police not to arrest any accused without proof. BJP accuses Congress of lying on detention centres. Party spokesperson Sambit Patra objects to Rahul Gandhi's statement, says detention centres were built only during UPA's tenure. Opposition parties are misleading people on Citizenship Amendment Act, says Union Home Minister Amit Shah in Delhi. Blames Congress for public disturbance, accuses Kejriwal government of taking credit for the central schemes. Dedicate next decade to making India healthier. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu calls for national movement against non-infectious diseases, emphasizes on healthy lifestyles and affordable healthcare. And no relief from severe cold wave in North India. Met Department predicts chilly weather will continue for some more days. Schools and colleges in several districts of Haryana and Uttar Pradesh extend holidays. A special investigation team will probe the violent protests against the Citizenship Amendment Act in Uttar Pradesh. The SIT was constituted following the directives of the Uttar Pradesh DGP for conducting a fair probe into the cases of violence. The investigating team will be headed by SP Crime or additional SP rank officer to probe these cases. Remember, protests against the Citizenship Amendment Act broke out in several districts of Uttar Pradesh since the 10th of December, in which several people lost their lives while several others were injured. And Union Home Minister Amit Shah accused the opposition of creating confusion over the Citizenship Amendment Act. Addressing the gathering after laying the foundation stone of East Delhi Hub, he said the Congress party is spoiling the atmosphere in the national capital by misleading its people. He said the time has come to punish them. He urged people of Delhi to punish them in the upcoming Delhi elections.
सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट बिल पर विपक्षों ने कांग्रेस के नेतृत्व में एक भ्रांति खड़ी की। दिल्ली ने बहुत समय के बाद देखा है, लोग सड़कों पर आए, दिल्ली की शांति को भंग किया गया। मैं आज बहुत जिम्मेदारी के साथ कहना चाहता हूं, विपक्ष ने दिल्ली को, जनता को गुमराह कर दिल्ली की शांति को भंग किया है। दिल्ली वालों, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं, पुलिस तो पुलिस का काम करेगी, मगर आपने भी दिल्ली में शांति रहे ऐसी सरकार लानी चाहिए या नहीं लानी चाहिए? सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट बिल पर संसद के अंदर चर्चा हुई, सब जगह चर्चा हुई, कोई कुछ बोलने को तैयार नहीं, इधर उधर की बातें करते थे। बाहर निकलकर इसमें भ्रम फैलाना चालू किया और दिल्ली को अशांत किया। मैं कहना चाहता हूं, एक कांग्रेस पार्टी, इसके नेतृत्व में टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग जो दिल्ली के अशांति के लिए जिम्मेदार है, इसको दंड देने का समय आ गया है। दिल्ली की जनता ने दंड देना चाहिए। कमल फूल की सरकार बनाने वाली।
Amit Shah also slammed the Arvind Kejriwal-led Aam Aadmi Party government. Taking on the Chief Minister, he said the Aam Aadmi Party dispensation has obstructed centre schemes and urged people to choose a government that will ensure peace in the national capital.
केजरीवाल जी ने एक नई शुरुआत करी। भाई सोचना भी क्यों, बजट भी क्यों देना, भूमि पूजन भी क्यों करना और उद्घाटन भी क्यों करना, किसी का कराया है अपने नाम का थप्पा लगा देना। अभी मैंने कल एक एडवर्टाइज देखी कि हर घर को पीने का पानी दिल्ली सरकार दे देगी। केजरीवाल जी, 15 अगस्त को मेरी बगल में बैठे थे आप, मोदी जी का भाषण नहीं सुना? 2019 का मैंडेट मिलने के बाद लाल किले की प्राचीर से श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने कहा है कि 2024 के पहले इस देश के हर घर के अंदर नल से शुद्ध पीने का पानी पहुंचाने का काम ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार करने वाली है। और आप एडवर्टाइज देकर यश लेने की बात कर रहे हो।
And the BJP on Thursday also hit back at the Congress party over the issue of NRC and detention centers. BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra accused the Congress party of spreading lies about the Citizenship Amendment Act. He said that in December 2011, the then UPA government had admitted to setting up 3 detention centers in the state of Assam. He also said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made it clear that no detention centers have been built during BJP's rule. Sambit Patra, in fact, also said that there is no connection between detention centers and NRC.
आज राहुल गांधी भ्रम फैला रहे हैं। वो कह रहे हैं प्रधानमंत्री ने झूठ कहा है। प्रधानमंत्री ने क्या कहा था? प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा था कि एनआरसी के तहत भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने कोई भी ऐसा डिटेंशन कैंप नहीं बनाया है जिसमें एनआरसी के बाद किसी भी हिंदुस्तान के मुसलमान को रख दिया जाएगा या डिटेन किया जाएगा। ये सारी अफवाहें झूठी हैं। ऐसा कोई डिटेंशन कैंप नहीं है। यह स्वयं प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा था। डिटेंशन सेंटर का बनना और एनआरसी का कोई संबंध नहीं है, दूर दूर तक संबंध नहीं है। डिटेंशन सेंटर इसलिए होता है कि कोई व्यक्ति, कोई फॉरेनर, किसी भी देश का फॉरेनर अगर भारतवर्ष में आता है, उसके कागज एक्सपायर कर जाते हैं, वो किसी क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटी में पड़ जाता है और उसके बाद या उसकी नेशनैलिटी वो छुपाता है, तो पेंडिंग नोइंग हिज नेशनैलिटी, जब तक हम जानते नहीं है उसकी नेशनैलिटी क्या है, जब तक उसके ऊपर कोर्ट केस इत्यादि चलता है, जब तक उसको अपने मातृ देश में डिपोर्ट नहीं किया जाता है, तब तक उसको एक जगह कन्फाइन रखना है। इसलिए एक कन्फाइनमेंट प्लेस होता है, उसको आप कन्फाइनमेंट सेंटर भी कह सकते हैं या डिटेंशन सेंटर भी कह सकते हैं।
Army Chief General Bipin Rawat has condemned the violence during the protests against the Anti-Citizenship Amendment Act. He said that leaders should guide the people in the right direction. Addressing an event in Delhi on Thursday, the Army Chief said that those who are leading people to carry out arson and violence in our cities and towns are not leaders.
Therefore, what is so complex about leadership, if it is all about leading? Because when you move forward, everybody follows. It is not that simple. It appears simple, but it's a very complex phenomena. Even amongst a crowd you find leaders emerge. But leaders are those who lead people in the right direction. Leaders are not those who lead people in inappropriate directions, as we are witnessing in a large number of university and college students, the way they are leading masses of crowds to carry out arson and violence in our cities and towns. This is not leadership.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has stressed on the need to make healthcare in India affordable and accessible to all. Addressing the gathering after inaugurating the Delta hospitals in Andhra Pradesh Rajmandri, the Vice President on Thursday expressed concern over the rising non-communicable diseases owing to the changes in lifestyle. He said the next decade must be dedicated to make India healthier, also stressing on the need to innovate, learn from the best practices world over in order to improve healthcare without financially burdening the people. The Vice President also said students in schools must be encouraged to take part in at least one physical activity or yoga every day in order to stay fit and healthy.
It's a mission. But unfortunately, some people in all the three fields started making some omission, giving some remission, and then becoming commission. That should not be the purpose of any institution, because, as I told you, this profession is the most noblest profession. What is required is not the wealth alone, health. For that you need to provide people peace, because peace is the prerequisite for progress. If you have tension, you cannot pay attention. A government which reduces the tension, a government which practices a peace, that is what is required. And we must try to excel further in this. And our country has made significant progress in improving its health outcome over the years. We have eliminated polio, guinea, worm diseases, yes, and maternal and neonatal tetanus. It is the credit of our successive governments at the center and the state in various states that we could achieve this. The total fertility rate has reduced sharply from 3.4 in 1992 to 2.2 in 15-16. Contrary to expectation, we were able to achieve the Millennium Development Goals in respect of the maternal mortality ratio, MMR level of 130 against the target of 139, and almost succeeded in meeting the under 5 child mortality target, U5 MR levels of 43 against a target of 42.
The government has made Aadhaar compulsory for subscribers of the Pradhanmantri Vay Vandana Yojana, a pension scheme for senior citizens. The scheme is being implemented through the Life Insurance Corporation of India, which facilitates the subscribers with a guaranteed 8% rate of return annually. According to the Finance Ministry, any individual eligible for receiving the benefit under the scheme will require to provide proof of Aadhaar number. The GST Council has decided to set up a grievance redressal mechanism for taxpayers. A statement released by the GST Council said that grievance redressal committees will be made at zonal and state levels for a period of 2 years. The committee will include officers of CGST, SGST, and other representatives of trade and industry. Key functions of the committee include examining and resolving issues being faced by the taxpayers. Meanwhile, the anti-evasion wing of the CGST Delhi on Thursday exposed another GST fraud case. The case involves fraud of 241 crore rupees through fake invoices and refunds. Over 120 entities involved in fake transactions have come to light so far, which involves fake invoicing of 1,600 crore rupees. The main culprit has been arrested and remanded to 10 days judicial custody. In order to reduce serious health hazards associated with cooking using fossil fuel, over 60 free LPG connections were distributed among women for the first time in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur district. Speaking on the occasion, Aarti Sharma, chairman of Block Development Council Godi Block, said that providing free gas connections in the name of the female head of a household under the Pradhanmantri Ujjwala Yojana is a step towards empowering women, besides protecting their health. The Pradhanmantri Ujjwala Yojana was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in May 2016.
यहाँ पे आज जो उज्ज्वल योजना जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की तरफ से जो स्कीम लॉन्च की गई थी, आज यहाँ पे मैंने महिला को, वुमेन्स को आज मैंने जो गैस सिलेंडर चूल्हे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किए गए हैं, तो 50 जो चूल्हे मैंने डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किए हैं, आज मेरी इस पंचायत की महिलाएं बहुत खुश हैं.
The Election Commission reviewed the poll preparedness of various agencies ahead of the assembly elections in Delhi. The meeting was attended by district election officers, DCPs, Joint Commissioners of Police, the chairman of NDMC, MCD Commissioner, and the CEO of Delhi Cantonment Board, as well as the other nodal officers of various enforcement agencies. The commission also held a separate meeting with the Chief Secretary and the Police Commissioner of Delhi. Top officials of the Delhi Police told the poll panel that it is fully prepared for the elections due early next year. The Delhi Police also said that law and order situation in the national capital was completely under control. The term of the 70-member Delhi Assembly ends on 22nd of February next year. India and the world witnessed a rare celestial event in the form of annular solar eclipse on Thursday. The eclipse was special since it was annular eclipse, which happens when the moon covers the sun's center, leaving the sun's visible outer edges to form a thin ring of the sun's surface. More details in this report.
2019's only annular eclipse and the third and final solar eclipse of this year was visible along a narrow path in the world's eastern hemisphere. The annular solar eclipse, the last one for the decade, began at around 8 a.m. this morning and lasted till about 11:15 a.m. As per Indian Standard Time, the eclipse was visible from 9:04 a.m. The maximum eclipse was visible at around 10:47 a.m. and the full eclipse was seen at the last location at the Pacific Ocean's Guam at 12:30 a.m. In India, the maximum duration of the annular solar eclipse was just over 3 minutes. The eclipse was witnessed by thousands of enthusiastic people, especially in Kerala. The rest of the country could see a partial solar eclipse. Partial phases of the solar eclipse were visible from various parts, including Bhubaneswar, Chennai, Mumbai, Nagpur, in varying magnitude depending on its geographical position. However, thick fog in several parts of the national capital blocked the view of the much-awaited solar eclipse.
I think it is after a long time that an annular eclipse has been visible from India, because I don't remember having ever heard of an annular eclipse to be visible from India. It must have been visible from other places, and as I told you that a solar eclipse is visible only from a few places from where the shadow actually follows. So maybe India didn't come, or the shadow of the annular eclipse didn't pass over India for a long time. So this was a rare phenomenon for Indians especially. See, today also, the annular eclipse that took place this morning, it was visible throughout India. But we couldn't see the annular eclipse from all parts of the India. It was seen only in a very small strip along South India. Mangalore was one of those places from where it was, the annular phase was seen. But from Delhi we saw only partial eclipse.
I'm pretty excited, yeah. So once in a lifetime kind of thing. I can see it's starting to come out right now actually, so it's pretty good.
As you can see, there are a lot of people who have come to break myths about it as well. Myths like you cannot eat during this time, you cannot step out of your house at this time. So I think that's important for the public and people to understand that these myths should not be held too strongly, and it's a beautiful scientific event that should be understood and enjoyed when we get a chance.
आज यहाँ देखने के लिए आए, बड़ी उत्सुकता से सुबह उठे, परंतु उतना satisfaction नहीं हुआ due to बादल, clouds. It's
an amazing event, so we thought we should be here watching it physically, and the government and the association has done a very nice job of providing all the facilities, including some good telescopes. We are happy that we are getting sun filters here and we are able to see the eclipse properly in an effective manner.
Actually, unexpectedly, अभी हमें नहीं देख पाया है, क्योंकि लास्ट 2 days से बारिश हो रही है नागपुर में, सो पॉसिबल नहीं हुआ. बहुत मायूस हो गए हम, इतना दूर से देखने आए थे बट पॉसिबल नहीं था, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम अब देखते हैं कब होता है.
A solar eclipse occurs when the moon moves between the sun and the earth. The moon causes the light of the sun to be blocked from reaching earth, casting a shadow on earth. There are 3 types of eclipses: partial, total and annular. A total solar eclipse is when the moon completely blocks the sun. A partial solar eclipse is when the moon only blocks part of the sun. The annular solar eclipse, often called a ring of fire eclipse, happens when the moon covers the sun's center, leaving the sun's visible outer edges to form a thin ring of the sun's surface or annulus around the moon.
Annular eclipse occurs when the sun is the nearest and the moon is the farthest from Earth. So when the sun is the nearest to Earth, it looks larger, and when the moon is the farthest from Earth, it looks smaller. So at that time, the situation is such that when the moon comes in front of the sun, it cannot cover the entire face of the sun. So there is a ring around it. That's why it is called annular. Annulus means a ring. So this is a phenomenon which we see again depending on the position of the sun and the moon. But most of the time when a solar eclipse occurs, the size of the sun and the moon as seen from Earth, they appear almost equal. That's why you can have total solar eclipses.
Besides India, the eclipse was visible in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Northern Mariana Islands and Guam. The next solar eclipse is scheduled for 21st June 2020 and will be visible in parts of Asia, Europe, North Australia and Africa. Bureau Report, RSTV.
Thick fog in several parts of the national capital blocked the view of the much-awaited solar eclipse. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also could not witness the solar eclipse due to fog and cloudy skies in New Delhi. He later posted his pictures trying to see the solar eclipse. In a Twitter message, he said that he managed to get glimpses of the eclipse from Kozhikode and other parts of the country on live stream. The Prime Minister also said he enriched his knowledge on the subject by interacting with several experts. A quick weather update now. Delhi continues to remain in the grip of piercing cold wave. The national capital recorded a minimum temperature of 5.8 degrees Celsius, settling 2 notches below normal, and the maximum temperature at 17 degrees Celsius. Air quality also remained in the very poor category, with PM 2.5 level at 325 on account of smog on Thursday. According to the Met Department, the cold breeze and drop in mercury levels will continue for another 5 to 6 days, and the minimum temperature over the weekend is expected to drop to 4 degrees Celsius. Due to intense cold wave, many schools in Uttar Pradesh will remain closed in the coming days. Cold wave conditions also intensified in Punjab and Haryana as the minimum and maximum temperatures further plummeted in both the states. The Dras belt of Kargil district became the coldest place in the twin union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, recording a minimum temperature of minus 30.2 degrees Celsius on Thursday.
उनतीस तारीख के बाद एक वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस नॉर्थ वेस्ट इंडिया को प्रभावित करने जा रहा है, तो उसके बाद 30 और 31 और 1 में आप कह सकते हैं तापमान में वृद्धि होगी। 31 की तारीख की रात में और 1 तारीख में हल्की फुल्की बारिश होने की भी दिल्ली एनसीआर समेत पूरे नॉर्थ वेस्ट इंडिया में संभावना है।
A typhoon that lashed the central Philippines on Christmas Day has killed at least 20 people and left more than 25,000 people stranded at seaports. Typhoon Fanphone, with winds of 195 kilometers per hour, tore off roofs of houses and toppled electric posts as it cut across the Philippines on Wednesday. The storm weakened slightly on Thursday as it blew into the South China Sea. Internet and mobile phone networks are still cut off in some badly damaged areas. Fanphone also hit Boracay, Coron, and other holiday destinations that are famed for their white sand beaches, and are very popular among foreign tourists. And on to some news about environment and climate change. The sea levels in the central Indian Ocean have risen by close to a meter in the last 2 centuries. An ongoing research by Simon Fraser University in Canada stresses on the alarming rise and the serious threat it poses to coastal cities and communities. Understanding where sea levels have been historically and what happens as they rise will provide greater insights into how coral reef systems and islands may be able to respond to the changes in sea levels in the future. It will help formulate policies and also manage the coastal areas according to the rise in sea level. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you for your time.